And welcome in to another edition of Big Men on Basketball. It is Tuesday, January 17th, 2023. I hope you're all having a great day wherever you are. We are back here as always on the Barstool Sportsbook YouTube channel. I am your host, Jeff Nadu, and we are here every day, 4 o'clock Eastern, breaking down the world of sports betting, mainly college basketball. And we got some NFL, we throw that in as well. I am solo today. No guests, no nothing. We're just going to get right to it. Talk some college basketball. Took 1-1 last night. What are you going to do? Syracuse, as I told you guys, thought that number would be 4. Falls 82-76 or 82-78. They do cover, though. Me and Kelly were on the money with that one. Did lose with Merrimack under. Lost by a couple of points. It's an auto bet I'm going to make. But all in all, it's been a pretty good start to conference play for me, so I'm pretty damn happy with what's going on. Tonight, we're going to get into a couple of more games, answer some of your questions, as we generally do here on the show. So sit back, relax, and hang out for a couple of minutes today. Before we do that, though, this is always my pulpit to talk about what's going on. And right before the show, I want to tell you about kind of how my afternoon was. So I recorded my podcast earlier today. I got off at about 3:45, getting ready to do the show. And Rochelle Ryan, of all people, tags me in a Barstool Sports tweet. And it said just my name. And I guess she was tagging me to see the tweet. And it was a blog about Matteo Messina Denaro being arrested. Now, for anyone who doesn't know that, he's a Sicilian mafia boss. He was arrested yesterday after 30 years on the run. I blogged it early yesterday. In fact, I blogged it. And I want to kind of let you guys know one of the things that I run into as a blogger, right? And this is no fault of Barstool. This is just the content matter that I write about. There's a lot of blogs I write that don't get posted due to the fact that it's just too violent or they don't think it'll work on a blog. The blog's about comedy. And one of the problems that I have sometimes is my show is about crime. So I try to report on all sorts of things, different things that are going on. And they don't get posted, right? So I wrote a blog, and it was coming out really quick, the information. I wrote it like an hour after this happened. So there was a lot of stuff that I was still figuring out. But what I wanted to essentially do is to write a blog that got the points across quickly, that he had been arrested, how he got arrested, where it was, who he was, and what ultimately was going on. Now, the truth of the matter is, I don't believe Matteo Messina Denaro has been running Cosa Nostra for probably the last several years. In fact, there's actually a long-standing rumor in Sicily that he's not running it anymore due to his health. Now, why I'm bringing this up is that tweet, I thought it was my blog, and I'm thinking, oh, Rochelle didn't know I wrote it. I go in, it's not even mine. Dante the Don wrote about it. Now, I know some people will say, well, they can write about the same things. Generally, usually when a blog's written, it's not written again, right? It's written by one person and that's that. Now, there are times where I'll write something and I'm like, okay, this is kind of my beat. Not that we have beats, but I have stuff that I write about. Someone might write about it. I just don't write about it again. I'll give those people the benefit of the doubt and they write about it. I don't need to write about it again. Dante writes a blog and he can write the blog. He wants to write it. Salute. Good for him. He's Italian, so I guess he believes he should write about this over me. I'm not really sure. But he writes a blog, which is cool. Write it, fine. But I read the blog, he takes a shot at me. Nadu wrote about this, but he mailed it in. What the fuck does that mean? Would you wake up on the wrong side of the bed today, Dante? This is what I cover. What do you want me to write? A whole fucking soliloquy about every piece of a barrel he threw someone in? He doesn't run the mafia anymore, okay? He doesn't. I don't know if you believe that or what you think, but he doesn't run the mafia anymore. Second of all, write the blog. You don't need to take a shot at me. Do you know how thorough I am at what I do? I'll be damned if some random dude that writes about this shit every 6 months is going to say shit about me doing this. There's no one more thorough. No one works harder at this crime content than I do. I put my heart and fucking soul into this shit. That's weird, man. That was a weird shot to take to me. I don't know if it was his intention. I'm not really sure why he did it, but it was corny, I thought. You know? When he writes a blog about Chingy doing a reunion tour, I don't write a blog and say, Dante really wrote this one shitty. I'm going to write it again. Write the blog. You only need to take a shot. I don't know. I thought it was weird. It was very random to me. You know, I guess he paints himself as he knows everything about the Italian mafia. I don't know. Um, he compared it to the arrest of El Chapo, which I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure if you're aware, Dante, but the Sinaloa cartel has not stopped operations for a millisecond, and neither will Sicilian Cosa Nostra. I guess I just have gotten past the whole like cheering for something. Look, he's a violent, depraved, ruthless criminal who should die in federal prison in Italy. But let's stop pretending like this is ever going to stop and that these governments couldn't just stop it if they wanted to. That's my problem. I don't cheer for this shit. I don't give like, yeah. But he also made a shot that I was probably upset that he got arrested. That's another continued thing that I'm getting fucking tired of. First of all, I hate these people. Okay. Especially people like Matteo Messino Denara. Just making weird shots at me. It's just odd. I don't get it. Then at the end, I see he says, maybe he'll have me on his show to talk about it. It's like, yeah, no, like not after that. Like, why don't you apologize and just move on? But whatever. I don't know that it's in his nature to do that. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But it just very odd. Very odd. That said, we'll move on. So the moral of the story is write whatever the hell it is you want. I definitely don't decide what goes on there. I've had many blogs that don't even go up, and that's fine. Again, the content I write about is a bit nutty. But that said, I mean, you don't need to take a shot at all. It's not necessary. All right. Let's get into hoops. And we have a good card today. Let's be honest. I want to start with Toledo. They're at home tonight, and what Toledo is calling a whiteout. The whiteout in Toledo. I saw Coach Todd did a video inviting the students to come to the game tonight. It's going to be a wild, fun night in Toledo. And look, what do we know about Toledo? This is one of the best offenses in America. Now, one of the problems they have is, while they're one of the best offenses in America, they're one of the worst defenses in America. Remember, this is a team that really shouldn't be ranked in the 300s in defensive efficiency, but there they are. They're not a good defensive team. I don't think any person that knows truly about the sport would ever constrict them as a good defensive team. And they don't. They play very fast. They like to play up and down. You know, it's a lot of just high level basketball. And, you know, to be honest, when we look at what Ohio is going to do, they're pretty similar. You know, very guard oriented. You know, with kids on the wing, and they go a mile a minute. And that's one of the reasons this total has went from 158 to 158 and a half to 159, now up to 160, 160 and a half. This reminds me a lot of the game last week I was involved with Detroit and Youngstown. What was it, 84-79? I think this is a similar game. Now, I've kind of exponentially been involving myself with Toledo team total overs. They average about 85 points a game. Team total tonight was 84 and a half, so they're on this one. Now, I guess I'll ask the question, do I have any interest in laying a number with a team like Toledo who, quite frankly, can't stop you, me, and 3 listeners? You look at last year's games, 87-69, 77-62. Toledo won both by double digits. So this number actually makes sense. That said, to me, that was a better defensive team last year. This number, I really kind of wanted to talk about this game because to me, this is a game in which I think the bookmakers got completely correct. Like, this is a really well done game, if you're asking me. This is exactly where I'd put this number. Now, you're probably saying, what would you bet here? Gun to my head, didn't get there. I would lean Ohio. I've seen this Toledo team just kind of play down to opponents occasionally. Now, that said, I mean, you also look at Toledo. You know, they're starting to get going a little bit. You know, they've kind of started to blow teams out. You know, and they generally beat teams they should and lose the teams they should. And Ohio's kind of a middle tier team. 9.5 struck me as a bit high. I could see this game being like, I don't know, 82-70, 75 or something. And I could see that, something along those lines. I think Ohio can hang around. And they do a lot of things that I like, right? They don't turn it over. They make threes and they make free throws. They do them all. So just an interesting one in the state of Ohio tonight. I want to, before we get to the next game, shout out to a couple of friends we have in the chat. Chili13, what's up? Drew, Dante is not active in the Nadu crew. Well, look, I thought we were cool, but I don't know, just a weird shot to take, I guess, to me, but whatever. What's up, Brad in Kansas City? How are you? Hitman, what's up? Brandon Whalen, how are you? Nice to see you. It was always the Nadu crew. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it. That's not my thing. Jersey Jerry is it was always whoever. But Brandon Newhart says, Jayhawk fan here. If there's a night where we lay an egg, it's tonight. I'm going to get to that game next. Brian Beck, how are you? Says, I love the show. Thank you. Todd Marquez, welcome in. We have another person that says K-State gets it done tonight. How about that? Wow, Grant Fisher. I took Kansas tonight. So we have a lot of people going up and down. Some people like Kansas. Some people like K-State. Todd Smith says, I locked in Georgia. I'm excited to hear your analysis. You will. I'm going to be talking about that game. Al B, how are you? Nice to see you. Nessie 1136 says, much love from Montana. What's up, Nessie? How are you? Thanks for watching. Bucks Rays 9978. Let loose. Always. Bano 7260. That was random. Yeah, it was. It was. It was really odd. Hater's going to hate. Oh, I don't think he's a hater. I just think he's taking shots. I don't know why. Did you get with his wife or something? No, I didn't. I wouldn't do that. I would read a NATO analysis on Rico, the act, not the employee. Well, it ruined the mafia, at least in this country. So that's probably all I need to say. I love Toledo tonight, says Tommy Rock. This is going to be a track meet. Yes, I think it is as well. Tom Blair, what's up? How are you? Listen, guys, I'm also going to say another thing, and I'm not going to address the comment in this chat right now. But guys, understand what we're doing. Do not ever come into this chat and talk about other sports books. Please. Why are we doing that here? Jordan, seriously, what are we doing here? Don't do that here. We are Barstool Sportsbook people, folks. Stop putting other books in here. Just very odd. Some of you folks, I don't think sometimes. I love the show, Jay Bishop. Thank you. Appreciate that. How are you? Appreciate that, Nathan. Let's get to the next game tonight, and I'm going to highlight it. This is a big one. Kansas and Kansas State. I'm on Kansas. Money line. Already played it. Played it hours ago. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, it's a road team. Yeah, but the line's definitely siding with them, right? If this was a Kansas State line, you know what the line would be here? 2.5. It's not. Kansas a favorite, which means they're going to win the game. They're just better than Kansas State. Now, I'm not going to knock Kansas State. I like K-State. I like Noel. I like Keontae Johnson, Desi Sills. I like them. But I think they are a bit of one- or two-trick pony. Well, I don't think they have enough scoring, and I think they're really bad defensively at the rim. I think schematics in this game really center around Kansas. Some really good all-ball defenders that I think can really kind of keep Noel a bit in a blender. I think that's concerning to me if I'm Kansas State. I don't think they're very good defensively. I think that's been made very evident. It was made evident in several games this season. I don't think they're very good at the rim without Ngesian not in the lineup. I think you can make a case Kansas is the best team in the country. You can. I think you can surely do it, especially with how successful they were last season. You also look at this trip. This is a trip that, it's not incredibly bad. You're not going to West Virginia or Waco or something. Definitely a trip that I think you're more inclined to be able to deal with. That said, Bramlage is a tough place to play, and I believe Kelly in Vegas will be there tonight. I'm sure she'll enjoy the game. But I can't get involved with K-State. In fact, I really like Kansas here. I went against K-State recently. Was with TCU. They were able to get the job done. I think they lose again here. I think that I think they hit their peak to me. They got to the mountain. They got to the highest level I think they're going to get to. I think they can make a run maybe in March sometime, but I think right now they're kind of where they are. And I think Kansas kind of assumes responsibility tonight and does what they do. I like the way this group's playing right now, and I think there's some schematics that really that really bother them. So I like Kansas in this game. All right. What else do we have here? Kansas money line here too. Says Tom Bear. Good, you agree? Good to hear. I don't have much interest. I'm not betting Boston College. Sorry. They're bad to me. Kansas seemingly playing at the top of their level. Exactly. 100%. Nobody's more sensitive in the business than they do. No, I'm just defending myself. That's another thing that people are that word is used way too much. Sensitive means that Dante wrote the blog and I just got mad that he wrote it. No, I got mad because he mentioned me. It's stupid. It makes no sense. It's like going to your job and I go in there and say, Chuck D's a fucking asshole. Unprepared with no reason to say it. I have no issue. I just say it. Being sensitive is not defending yourself. You're not going to talk to me like I'm an asshole. Now, maybe you think that's sensitive, but that's what people like you do. You say dumb stuff. I then defend myself and I'm too sensitive. Nope. You're not going to talk to me like I'm some sucker. That's how it's going to go. Chuck. Stupid fucking name as well. And also, I defend my company. You're not going to come in here and mention another sports book. Sorry. Sue me. Burn me at the fucking stakes. What do you think about Clemson, Wake Forest? Well, it's funny you ask. I'm going to get into that one right now. Another game where I was on the right side Saturday with Clemson, but in this business, with we call conference play, you have to be willing to throw out what you just saw because the rigors of conference play are difficult. Enter Clemson. This team hasn't lost since December 10th. It's been over a calendar month since we last seen them in the L column. Tonight, I think we see them in the L column. Wake is well coached. They're a good, solid basketball team. And I got to admit, I think, at least I could be crazy, I think they have the best player on the court tonight. Tyree Appleby's been really good for them. Really good. And he's really been the bell cow for this team over the last couple. And you look at what they've done. I know it's not going to move mountains, but this is another game to put in the feather of your cap and win another game in conference. This is a team that's not at home. It's a Tuesday night. It's a road game. This number tells you all you need to know here. Wake shouldn't be a favorite to Clemson, right? Wake's 13-5. But Wake does a lot of good things. A lot of good things. The question I'm concerned about here is how does this game look from a defensive standpoint? Because I think if Clemson's going to win, it's on the defensive end. It's kind of a clash in styles. 146 may be a little low. I kind of felt like first to 75 wins here. But to me, this is a simple, I'm not going to get there with it, but it screams play Wake. Clemson's been good to me, so I don't want to get off the wagon with them and bet them here. But I have a feeling they lose tonight. This line tells you all you need to know to me. All right. Do you have any interest in Davidson against Dayton? I'm not trying to spam the chat. Yeah, it seemed a bit high to me. I don't think Dayton's that good. I think that was evident the other night against Virginia Commonwealth. They completely peed down their leg. And Davidson is a good, solid offensive team. That said, they're a lot like a Richmond. They don't play a lot of defense. It seemed a bit high to me. Do you have thoughts on AB's Snapchat video? I have no idea what you're talking about. Tank 28 says in his bag equals paying women. Yeah, that's what it means. That's another thing. You know, I don't try to win with some of you guys. What you can think what you want. If you think that I pay women to take pictures of me, so be it. I don't, but again, doesn't seem like I can really get through to people like you. So, but hey, listen, Tank, thanks for coming in and watching. Also, Ryan, thank you for watching. Another person. Thank everybody for watching. You know, hate views get the same to me. Any opinion on Mississippi State? Well, they got a game tonight against Tennessee, who completely destroyed them a couple of weeks ago. You know, they're always going to try to keep the game low scoring, hang in the game because, you know, they can defend and they don't play fast and they're going to try to dirty the game up, as I've said with Mississippi State. But probably under. I think if anything, I would lean under. All right. I want to do two more. This is an interesting one. Wisconsin and Penn State. It looks like Wisconsin's fully healthy again. They're at home here, and they're getting a Penn State team here that, let's just be honest, is horrific at the rim. I mean, they can't stop anybody at the rim. And that's one of the reasons defensively they've just struggled in conference. In conference, they're allowing teams to shoot 52% from 2-point range. I'd have to admit, probably around the rim, it's a lot worse. They don't have a capable big around the rim. And guys like Wall and Crowell and those kind of guys, they could bludgeon Penn State here. This seems kind of like a get right spot for Whiskey. And I've said before, I mean, I think you have to have kind of a bit of a death wish to bet them in that building. Now, a lot of people will point to that they've lost 3 straight in a row, but they haven't had their full roster. It looks like they're back fully healthy. If they're fully healthy tonight, I think this is a good get right spot. I want to check their lineups though before I make any play on this one. Last year, it was a fucking slog. I think it was like 59-52 last year. Ugly game. I saw there was some sharp money coming in on the over here. It's hard to play because I think Penn State will struggle to score, but I think Wisconsin could have some major success. So here's what I'll say about this one. If everybody's healthy, I would lean on Whiskey here. And I should probably check this. The problem is you can never really get great info on any team. It's just how it goes. But just a thought. I would look into whether Wall and everybody's good to go in this game and then, kind of go from there. But I lean Whiskey here. Kentucky and Georgia. We saw Kentucky. And what I tell you guys on Saturday, I thought Kentucky was in a good spot. I bet them second half. They won the game. But now you look at they're right back to the old, they're laying a big number thing. And I'm sorry, but this team is not good enough to lay double digits to anyone in this conference, especially a team in Georgia who, I mean, I want to get their number up here. I should have made a comment. Okay, here we go. Georgia, 6-2 against the spread this year is a dog. They're 8-2 over the last 10 against the number. What do we know about Kentucky? They failed to cover in 9 of 10. Why are they 11 and a half point favorites here? Are we just ready to say they're really good because they beat Tennessee the other day? I'm not. Now, what scares me here is this line too many points where it's just like, you know what? They're going to get fucking crushed by 20. I don't think. This kind of reminds me of LSU, Kentucky. I told you guys, take the points. They covered. That was by like 5. Georgia is better defensively this year, and I think they have the horses to hang in this game. And, I got in trouble yesterday because looking back, I should have just played Syracuse and left it at that. It was a shorter card. I should have just left it with that and went 1-0, but I went 1-1. I love Kansas. I'm also going to play Georgia. I'm going to play the 11. I'm going to say they hang here. This number is too high to me. I'd put it at 7.5. If you're going to give me double digits, I'm going to buy. This is, again, a Kentucky team who I think has chronic problems, and I don't think just one win against a game in which they have to play well in, they're worthy. Now, that's not to say, I mean, you look at 4 of the last 5 in this series, Kentucky's won by double digits, higher than this number. They did lose 21 to Georgia by 1. That was a much worse Georgia team. This Georgia team's good against the number. They're a solid team, and they hang in games. Kentucky has been poor against the number and seemingly play down to every team they play. I think there's going to be a season of inconsistency with Kentucky. So, again, I'll ask Kentucky fans, if we have any in the chat, are you just immediately ready to say John Calipari's the guy because he won one game and you're back on board? I'm back on board, Admiral. Well, are you? Are you really? I'm gonna take the bait. I'm gonna play Georgia here. And I'm telling you, it will probably not win, but it's something I have to play. All right. What games do you want me to talk about? Those are the kind of ones that I had some interest in. I had to lock into Vandy. Yeah, I played it at 9.5. I get the best number. I'm not going to share it here because I didn't get the best price is gone. Um, and it, to be honest, has nothing to do with the off the court problems. I thought that was a when I looked at the schedule a week or two ago, I thought that was a rough spot. If Alabama had taken care of business, I thought going on the road on a Tuesday after a blowout victory at home on Saturday, I thought that was going to be a tough trip. And I actually think Vandy's really solid, man. Really well coached. I love Liam Robbins. They've got some really good guard play. And they've made some shots. They were good at home over the weekend. I think it's a good spot for them. Throw in the fact that you have some major issues going on off the court. Now that said, I think it's important to say Darius Miles has not played for a while, but it's still affecting the team. Their minds are elsewhere. The coach has to answer, 7, 8 questions about this situation. I haven't been on them for a while. They were a good play in non-conference play, but I don't, you know, eh, I don't have much in that game. Tulane's going to zone them. It's all about if they make threes. I'm a UK fan and I'm expecting a letdown tonight. Yeah, yeah. I mean, exactly. Big win on the road, come back home. You got to play a tough little Georgia team that you may not take seriously. Baylor, Texas Tech. I didn't have much on that one. Two teams that I think are also inconsistent. I like Texas Tech over the weekend. I played them. I had them +8 against or +8.5 against Texas. Big rivalry. I just thought it was too many points. Tonight, not so sure. Seems coin flippy to me. I haven't been on that for a while. Like I said, that was really just a conference play thing to me, or non-conference play thing to me. Who's your favorite guard this year? Wow. Well, I wanted it to be Nick Smith, but he hasn't played much. My favorite guard, probably Ashworth for Utah State. The kid doesn't miss from three. No, I like Keontae George as well for Baylor. Great player. Marcus Carr, always like him. There's a lot of great guards. But I like the kid Ashworth at Utah State. I think he's the best shooter in America. If you ask me, you got one kid that you need to make a shot, it'd be him. Kid don't miss. Shooting like 50+% in conference. Under. I lean under. Yeah, but sometimes you have to go against that. It's not always something that works. I don't believe the market is correct on Kentucky in this game. I think they're hoping and thinking that's going to happen, but that's not always an exact science, bro. No interest. No interest. Two teams that I'm just not real interested in. Do I have any thoughts on Creighton tonight? Yeah, I've said on Saturday in the spaces that we did, I don't think Butler's very good. In fact, I think Butler stinks. I don't care that they beat Villanova. That doesn't do much for me. I don't think Villanova is very good either. The truth is, I think Butler sucks defensively. They don't really have a true point guard, and Creighton's back fully healthy today. I agree with this commenter. I would agree. I think Creighton probably gets the job done tonight. Nevada, Boise. I have a soft spot for Nevada, but I only really like them at home. That's a tough conference to win on the road. I'm going up to Boise. They're going to put you in a mixer. Kind of a clash of styles. No interest. Another game in that conference. Wyoming, I'm not real interested in until they get Ike back. If they get him back, they just aren't the same team to me without him. Kind of like any team would be without their best player or one of their second best players. Yeah, I wouldn't say that's the only reason you should bet Tennessee though. I mean, like I said, they got blown out the first game, not easy to do. Coming back and, just kind of limiting them or you're thinking they're gonna fall apart again. Tennessee's, coming into a game off a loss against a team that they crushed. You should get a max effort from Mississippi State here and a much better one than we got the first time. Your name's Charles, it's not Chuck. Already talked about it. Lean Kansas or played Kansas. Any thoughts on Old Miss, South Carolina? No, two shitty teams. Shouldn't be betting on them. No interest. All right. Jalen Pickett is the best guard in the country. Again, per usual, an odd comment from Josh B. But I don't know. We've started to realize that he says a lot of odd things. So, and there's another one. Do you think UConn can still win the national title? Do I think they can still win the national title? Yeah, I do. Do I think they will? I think it's definitely lost some luster to me. David Lesage says 420 people watching, 33 likes. Yeah, that's one thing I never understood about YouTube. Why people don't hit the like button. It doesn't take much. Let's be honest. Most people in here are fans of this show. Just hit the click once. Thank you. By the way, if you're watching on Twitter or another platform, welcome in. If you're watching after the fact, welcome in. Who's the best team in the A-10 after Dayton? I think the best team in the A-10 is St. Louis, and I think they will ultimately win that conference. So I don't think they're the best team behind Dayton. I think that conference is kind of a jumbled mess of Virginia, Commonwealth, St. Louis, Dayton. I'm sure the Bonnies will have something to say. Richmond. I think St. Louis is the best team. That might not show in the stats or the standings, but I think when the rubber meets the road, they're the best team. Wake's not a 4.5. Something going on there. Appreciate that. Thank you. How are you? Who is the worst coach in Atlantic 10? I mean, they're all pretty good. I think it's a pretty good coach league. Fordham's got a pretty good coach now. I like Schmidt. I like VCU's coach. I like Mooney, obviously. I like Anthony Grant. I like Dambrot. It's a tough question. I kind of an odd question, but I don't really have any. I like them all. Thank you. 86 likes. Let's get up to 100. I'm okay with 100. Let's get to 100. Have you ever discussed the next day games instead of same day? You say getting the right number is key, and a lot of times these lines are moved by the time the thing airs. Yeah. I guess we could do that at some point, but I can only be on so many times, they don't really move that much in conference play, so I don't think it's that big a deal. Appreciate that, Ryan. So, yeah, tonight I'm going to play a Kansas money line, and I grabbed with bated breath Georgia. I'll play the 11. I'm just going to trust the handicapping there. Who's the best coach? Who's the best conference of coaches in the country? Let's think about it. Few is very good. He's not in the SEC. Bennett is a very good coach. He's not in the SEC. But let's think about the SEC. You got Rick Barnes, Nate Oates, Musselman, Pearl, Mike White, Todd Golden, Chris, what's his name at Mississippi State? Chris Jans. Who else do we got? Jerry Stackhouse. It's a pretty good group. We look at the Big 12. I didn't name all of them. Big 12. Let's think of a couple there. Scott Drew. We don't have a coach at Texas. Jamie Dixon, Mark Adams, Bobby Huggins. Big 12's good. Let me think. Who's the bad? Yeah, I'd probably say the SEC. The collection of coaches. I don't know if I could. The only bad coach they have to me is Nate Oates. And I just don't like him personally. Yeah. Maybe Barnes. I don't like Rick Barnes either. But I wouldn't say he's a bad coach. Yeah, I don't have much on that one. I didn't play it. Didn't play it. Thank you, Nick. How are you? I love Stackhouse. I think he's a great coach. Big Ten has a good group outside of um, out of McCaffrey. I mean, that's a good group. What do you got? Peichel, Izzo, Underwood, Kevin Willard, Micah Shrewsbury, you know, um, Wisconsin's coach, guard, Jawan Howard. It's a good group. Matt Painter, Holtman. It's a good group there too. Yeah, forgot him. Sorry. We just mentioned him. I don't think he's a good coach anymore, so I don't really care that much about John Calipari. John Calipari's days have passed him by. Um, that's a good point. I mean, the Big East is great as well. Hurley, cool. I'm not a Hurley guy. I like Cooley. I like Shaka. I like Sean Miller. I like Mata. I like McDermott. It's a good group. Kyle Neptune. We'll see what he is ultimately. They got the ability. Shaheen. Obviously like what he just maybe he hasn't come upon yet, but he's I think a good coach. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna wrap this thing up. Great conversation as always. Got some good thoughts today on the card. I hope you all have a great evening. I hope you win some money tonight. And I urge you, check out the sit down tomorrow. It is out. Just finished it. It is on some true crime content this week. I think you can all sink your teeth into. Involving the death of 4 individuals in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, at the hands of a person who very much was lost in the grips of the mental health community. No one was willing to help this individual, put him into prison, or do anything for him to stop his demonic and depraved behavior. And he ultimately killed people because of it. So make sure you check that out. Cosmo Donardo, The Lost Boys of Bucks County. That's a good show I did tomorrow. Not yet. By the way, the Cowboys won last night. Got the over right. Bucks didn't get the job done though. So yeah, make sure you check the show out tomorrow. I'm out of here. I hope you all enjoy your night. Thank you for checking out the show. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place here on a Wednesday on the Barstool Sportsbook YouTube channel. I am the Big Man on Campus. We'll see you tomorrow. Later.